Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Professor Ipshita Bansal from BPS Women's University, Sonipat. Today we are going to talk about the module Telephonic Communication from the paper Business Communication. By the end of this module, the students will be able to understand first the importance of telephonic communication, learn about telephone etiquettes, and understand the skills of handling calls. Be it a workplace or at home, telephonic communication is a part of human life. In today's times, with mobile telephony gaining so much importance, telephonic communication skills have become very important for achieving success in every sphere of life. We interact with customers, friends, colleagues, and various others on telephone. Sometimes major business deals are cracked over phone. Though people are talking on the phone for business related work much more than they were doing before, the required skills are often lacking both in the speakers as well as the listeners. So, we must be aware of do's and don'ts of telephonic communication. To be able to do that, we must understand the different stages of a telephone call. Let's now understand the stages of a phone call. The first stage is introduction. During this stage, either we receive or make a call. We identify ourselves, that is, we tell our name and surname, identify the organization and reason for the call. For example, hello, my name is Anita Tyagi from XYZ Limited. I wish to speak to Human Resource Manager, please. The second stage is development. Once the desired person is online, we start the conversation. For example, if we wish to know about the opening in the organization, we may inform about our profile. During the conversation, we must identify whether the vocabulary used is apt as per the listener, because using too much jargons may dilute the essence of the message. Pause can be used instead of fillers, like as using too much fillers may damage the personality of the speaker. Third, closure. The goal of the conversation is achieved by this stage. For example, if the interview date has been fixed, you say, "Thanks for giving me the time for the interview. I will reach the company's Gurgaon's office on 15th January at 10:15 am sharp." There may be a possibility that the decision is not reached in the first stage. Here, on another phone call is arranged. In this call, the process is repeated. The fourth stage is farewell. It is the time to finish the conversation. We thank discussant for the attention and time. For example, thank you, Mr. Pandey. Have a pleasant day. There are three key telephone skills: listening, speaking, and questioning. The first telephone skill is listening. It is one of the most important types of on the job communication. Listening is the most important aspect of telephonic communication. We have understood in the previous modules that active listening improves the quality and productivity of an individual at work. Telephonic listening is even more challenging, as in this case, the individuals who are talking to each other cannot see each other's face and so are not able to read the facial expressions and body language, but have to rely only on the voice, tone, and pitch of the words spoken. Though we are aware of the importance of listening, still there are studies that reveal that people listen poorly. Let's now discuss about barriers to effective telephonic listening. These barriers can be psychological, environmental, attitudinal, and also related to poor listening habits. So let's now discuss about physiological barriers. First physiological barrier can be hearing impairment. Due to hearing deficiency, one may not be able to hear properly. Second physiological barrier could be speaking thinking rate. We speak 125 to 150 words a minute, but our brain can process about 500 words per minute. Due to this, our brain has ample spare time to go astray. Second barrier, environmental barrier. This can be related to physical distractions like background sounds, seating arrangements, disturbance in the telephone lines. All these can be hindrance in active listening. Or they can also be related to message overload. Quick succession of messages lead to dullness as one finds it difficult to pay attention. One juggles with the information and in the process only few things are remembered. Then we talk about attitudinal barriers. First, prejudices. It is seen that our preconceived notions and prejudice makes it difficult to trust the speaker. In order to overcome this barrier, we must control our responses and should try to make rational judgments, eliminating the biases. Second attitudinal barrier can be preoccupation. Moreover, at times we are preoccupied with our own concerns. For example, when there is festive season, our mind is mentally engrossed in festivities and celebrations, so we do not pay attention to what is being said. Next listening barrier is poor listening habits. First point related to this is faking attention. Many people fake attention so that it appears that they are courteous. This can become a habit and prove as barrier to listening. They might be saying yes when the speaker is speaking on the other end but actually may not be paying attention. Another barrier is listening to only facts. Many times listeners only listen to the facts and don't pay attention to the voice and tone, which may communicate much more than the words. This leads to dilution of the main idea and restricts total understanding. Next is avoiding difficult material. It is observed that when something technical or unfamiliar is spoken, the attention of the audience is dropped. So let's understand how to be a better telephonic listener. First thing is be motivated. Researchers have shown that motivated listener is more active and alert than the one who is not motivated. Though it is not the only ingredient to be a better listener, but it is the essential one. So develop interest in the subject and be motivated. Second, be prepared beforehand. Gathering information about the subject, the speaker, and the situation helps to listen effectively as the listener is in the position to understand and reply to the speaker. Third, be objective. One should receive messages with an open mind and also should not jump to conclusions. Random judgments may lead to the loss of men and material. Next, adopt sensible use of thinking speaking time difference. As explained earlier, we think faster than we speak. So the listener can benefit from this difference by mentally reviewing what the speaker has spoken. Last, use paraphrasing. By paraphrasing what the speaker has spoken, one should check with the speaker whether one has listened correctly. It helps in clearing out ambiguities. Speaking is another key skill of telephonic communication. Speaking, equally important telephonic skill. Over the phone, one can't see the other, so voices have to be expressive. These days, the technology of teleconferencing is also used when in more than two people are connected over the phone simultaneously to discuss an important matter. In such a scenario, it becomes even more important that telephone speaking skills are improved. Our voice could also prove as an asset or liability depending upon the following. It is often equated with emotion. It could vary from low to high. High pitch indicates excitement, immaturity, or lack of experience, whereas low pitch is regarded as sign of trust and respect. Low pitch designates that speaker is in control of the situation. So speakers should train themselves to control their pitch while speaking on the phone. Second is speed. As highlighted earlier, one can speak up to 150 words per minute. One who speaks at fast pace seems impatient, whereas one who speaks slowly can cause boredom, and the listener may feel speaker is not sure about the content. So, the speed of the spoken word should neither be too fast nor too slow. Next is volume. One may speak loudly to attract attention of other, but constantly using the same can be irritating and unpleasant. Low voice depicts calmness, but also could give the impression of weakness and indecisiveness. So the volume of the voice should be kept moderate. Inflection. It refers to the patterns of the voice and gives personality to it. Smooth inflection shows confidence, while the uneven rhythm indicates lack of clarity. Also, while speaking on the phone, the voice should have a balance of clarity and firmness to denote confidence. Enunciation. It refers to the overall clarity of one's speech. One should try to speak clearly and articulate the matter systematically. Poor enunciation shows carelessness. Questioning is another important skill of telephonic communication. Telephonic communication is a two-way process. Sometimes we speak to pass information, while other times we seek clarifications or confirm information received by putting questions to the speaker. The formal telephonic communications are generally brief and to the point. So, the questioning has to be very focused and precise. There can be various type of questions which can be asked as per the requirement of the situation. So, what are the types of questions? Open questions. These questions require further clarifications and cannot be answered in mere yes or no. For example, how can we help you? Why is the employee turnover so high in the company? Second, specific questions. They help to clarify points. Moreover, they could also be used for extracting information or can be answered via yes or no. For example, are you taking part in the conference? Or who was the chief guest at the seminar? Third, closed questions. They usually are answered by yes or no. They can be used in closing the conversation and confirming details. For example, have you confirmed your attendance in the seminar? Fifth, leading questions. They are used to speed up the interactions. For example, so you agree to enroll in the new monthly plan discussed. Alternative choice questions. These questions are used to give the caller the alternatives to choose from. Difficult callers can be handled through these as the speaker gives the options as per his convenience. For example, shall Rajesh call you or can I furnish you with the information? Sixth, hypothetical questions. These can be used as testers to assess the reaction from the listeners. For example, if we agree to pay the down payment, how much time will it take to deliver the car? Stop. Fifth, leading questions. They are used to speed up the interactions. For example, so you agree to enroll in the new monthly plan discussed. Alternative choice questions. These questions are used to give the caller the alternatives to choose from. Difficult callers can be handled through these as the speaker gives the options as per his convenience. For example, shall Rajesh call you or can I furnish you with the information? Sixth, hypothetical questions. These can be used as testers to assess the reaction from the listeners. For example, if we agree to pay the down payment, how much time will it take to deliver the car? So, for effective questions, one should follow some guidelines. For instance, appropriate questions should be drafted before placing a call so that there is clarity without wastage of time. One should listen attentively to the answers and should not be too rigid with the questioning pattern. Timing plays a crucial role as it is better to avoid out of context questions. Who, why, where, when, and how. Questions should be constructed. So let's now discuss the telephone communication techniques for placing a call. First technique, organize the call. When we place a call, we must respect the receiver's time and act properly. We must be clear with the purpose of the call. Second, dial carefully. One must carefully observe the keypad and dial numbers as it prevents unnecessary interruptions. In case one has accidentally misdialed, one must make a polite apology. Let the phone ring. Before hanging up, let the phone ring at least 6 times. It is unpleasant to run to the telephone and answer it, and by the time the person reaches, he merely hears the dial tone. Introduce yourself. Start every conversation with greetings followed by your name and organization. If the call is not handled by the person desired, kindly ask for the person you wish to speak to. For example, this is Rajesh from XYZ Limited. May I speak to Ms. Geeta? Next is follow up. Brief the listener with the purpose of the call. Confirm if it is convenient time for the recipient. If not, arrange for appropriate time as per his or her convenience. If it is, continue with the conversation. Last is conclude. Business should be short and concise. One must be alert to cues if the other person wishes to end the call. At the end, thank the recipient for their time. Telephone communication techniques for receiving a call. First, promptly answer. Answer the phone within 3 rings. Greet the caller with hello, morning as suitable. Answer the calls pleasantly and professionally. Second, introduction. Followed by the greetings, introduce yourself with your full name and organization. Example, this is Rajesh, Human Resource Manager. If the calls are from within the organization, or another example, thanks for calling XYZ Limited. This is Rajesh. How may I help you? If the calls are received from outside the organization. Next technique for receiving the call is focus on the caller. It is dispiriting to have a conversation with someone else, hear music or watch videos while taking the call. When one speaks over the phone, the attention should be paid to the caller. One should switch away from distractions and sit up straight. It helps in being responsive to the caller. Prepare yourself to talk. While talking, do not eat or drink, as sometimes caller may hear the sounds due to sensitive cell phones. Moreover, if someone calls at an odd time, convey them that you will call them later and are presently engaged in some work. Mute the ringer in midst of the meeting. Telephone techniques for using voicemail. Record your message. Recording greetings for the answering machine. Avoid using someone else's voice. Record concise and direct messages while setting up your voicemail. Start with your name so that callers are assured that they have reached the right number. Moreover, highlight what steps the caller should follow, like leaving his name and number, right time to call back, reason for the call, etc. These will help to follow up while calling the caller later. Next point to consider is use generic message. Avoid using date as it can become obsolete. Update the date if it is mandated by your organization to use date and time while using voicemail. Generic messages prove more fruitful. Next, check and return calls on daily basis. Check your calls on a daily basis and revert them promptly. If at all, it takes more than a day to respond, kindly float a mail so that the caller is aware you have heard the message. Next, maintenance of voice mailbox. Keep the inbox organized by replying, forwarding, or deleting the messages. Unnecessary messages create clutter and lead to chaos. Telephone techniques for leaving professional messages. First point to consider is be slow and clear. Voice signals are converted to digital signals through voicemail systems, due to which it is less reliable. In order to make it more trustworthy, speak into the receiver and keep the rhythm appropriate, neither too fast nor too slow. Second, leave the name and telephone number. In order to increase the chances that call will be returned, conclude the message by leaving your name and number. Third, make it easy for the person to pen down messages. People usually take notes while they review their voicemails. Keep in mind to have the right pitch and rhythm. Articulate the digits of the phone number properly so that the receiver can get back to you. Next, short messages. Don't unnecessarily complicate the message. It is seen that many voicemail systems automatically stop after a certain amount of time without warning. Keep messages short and crisp so that they are properly understood. Last is inclusion of date and time. Mention the date and time of your message, though some machines automatically include them. Also, it would be great if suitable time could be suggested to take back the call. Telephone techniques for screening, holding, and transferring calls. First, before leaving, put callers on hold. In case it is required to move, kindly use the hold feature. Do not cover the receiver with mouthpiece or place it down over the desk, as receivers amplify the voice and could create discomfort for the caller. Ask before holding. Before putting the caller on hold, ask for their permission, as directly putting the caller on hold looks abrupt. In case if the caller does not wish to be put on hold, kindly take the message and respond to him back at the appropriate time. Next, frequently check on callers. Check back every 30 seconds when you put the call on hold. Thank the caller for holding and giving them estimate for how long it will take more. Transfer calls. In case the caller wishes to speak to someone else, ask them whether they wish to be transferred. If you receive a positive response, mention the name of the person you are transferring the call to. In case the call is disrupted, call them back and connect them to the desired person. Screen calls. In case screening the call for your fellow worker or senior, create an impression that the respective person does not desire someone else to take the call, but due to contingency, the call is handled by you. Ask for the reason of the call if the call cannot be transferred. Now let's discuss about how to handle difficult callers. Difficult callers can be broadly divided into four types. First, rude or angry callers. Second, talkative callers. Third, hard to understand callers. And fourth, uncooperative callers. So, how to handle rude or angry callers? These callers can be very scary. It gets tough to handle them silently as they constantly insult and make accusations. Here, the main objective is to calm the caller, as without this, further progress is not possible. So, what to do? How to handle? Listen calmly. Acknowledge the concern of the caller. Build friendly but business type relations. For example, you say, I understand your concern, Mr. Rajesh. Let me try to solve your problem for once and all today. How to handle talkative callers. Sometimes the callers love to talk, due to which various waiting calls can be missed. So, how to handle such talkative callers? Be alert and avoid responding conversationally. Don't chat just because the caller is informal. Stick to business matters. Ask specific questions so that it minimizes the chances of the caller to go haywire. Squeeze in the conversational space. For example, where were you last time I called? Rima, I was on vacation. Caller, which movie recently became hit? Rima, I'm flooded with work. How can I cater to your problem? Hard to understand callers. Sometimes it is tough to understand callers due to their speech. Sometimes they are fast, whereas other times they are too slow. Also, they may stammer, misuse words, or fumble. This makes them difficult callers. So, how to handle such callers? Develop tactful ways of requesting the callers to slow down, speed up, be a bit louder, or softer. For example, you say, Mr. Rajesh, can you a bit louder, please? And kindly speak directly into the mouthpiece of the receiver so that I can understand you clearly. Uncooperative caller. At times, the customers are uncooperative. They might be passive or timid. So, how to handle such callers? Probe to extract information from them. For example, you say, Mr. Raj, I'm afraid I'm unaware of the problem you are facing. Can you please elaborate it? Many times, caller is assertive. In this case, be equally assertive to match the caller's tone, but don't sound aggressive. Work on your questioning and listening skills. Let's now quickly catch up with golden rules of telephonic communication. First, be prompt and answer the call within 3 to 4 rings. Second, instead of passing calls to one another, take the name, number, and message of the caller. Third, answer with smile and positive attitude. Fourth, while making calls, make sure it's convenient time for other person to take calls. Fifth, by using warm and friendly tone, build connection with the caller. Double-check information by repeating the information furnished by the caller, as in case of discrepancy amendments can be made. Sixth, focus on the subject and do not interrupt the caller without context questions. Next, don't bluff to the caller. In case you can't handle the query, apologize politely and assure them that their query will be handled in a certain frame of time. Next, use I see, right words to make callers aware you are listening. Last, if you are calling someone back, state when you called them last. After understanding in depth about the telephonic process, how various types of calls are handled, we now have a fair understanding of common errors we are prone to. Moreover, it is highlighted that telephonic conversation is an important element of the business arena. So, it has to be dealt with efficiently so as to avoid losses. Thank you.